Even so, the skies of Kent were becoming a very dangerous place for both sides. By the 27th of August, the 2 weeks fighting since Eagle Day had claimed 208 RAF and 413 Luftwaffe aircraft.
Everybody in the squadron was either shot down or bailed out or crashed or did something all around Maidstone. In fact, we knew Leeds Castle like the back of our hand because we'd all landed there one time.
With losses escalating on both sides, Goering was the first to lose his nerve. Unhappy he was losing so many bombers, he issued orders that his fighter escorts should fly close to them and not high above as they had before. This made the bomber crews feel safer, but it stripped the fighters of their natural advantages, speed and height.
The whole point of a fighter's advantage is the fact that it's fast, and now we were ordered to give up our speed and fly alongside the bombers. In doing so, we were totally inferior. In this situation, with the British flying towards us at a great speed from high altitude, we didn't stand a chance. This meant we incurred heavy losses.
Davis returned to Duxford after the long sortie to the south coast. In 1940, he would now have faced a barrage of questions from intelligence officers trying to piece together a picture of the day's air fighting.
Any claims, Johnny?
109 destroyed, Freddie, yes.
Oh, good show.
These combat reports were notoriously inaccurate, as confusion and enthusiasm took their toll on the true picture of the day's events.
And there used to be various people flying around who would always get back a bit late when the rest of the squadron had already landed and say, oh, I went a bit north towards the North Sea, came across half a dozen chaps and shot 2 down, you see. These great fellows with their moustaches.
Now look at it from our point of view. We would shoot at aircraft at 18,000 feet. We would record what we thought we'd done. The aeroplane would then go down. Don't forget there would be 35 squadrons in the air at the same time. So it could well be that the aeroplane would be attacked 3 or 4 times before it hit the ground.
For the Germans, the situation was made even worse by a system that not only encouraged wild overclaiming, but actually reduced the combat efficiency of their fighter squadrons.
The Luftwaffe actually had an incentive system of getting awards, the Knight's Cross, the swords and the oak leaves and so on, that was based on how many kills you got. Unfortunately, however, it produced a system in which these people became prima donnas, in which getting the highest score was the only thing that mattered to them, which demoralized the rest of them. And you get a ridiculous situation where you will get the whole of a Geschwader trying to protect their star ace as he goes out to shoot down one more Spitfire, and actually ignoring the real tasks, which are to protect bombers. This was a tension the Luftwaffe suffered from right the way through the war.
There was another disadvantage. As well as creating aces, the German system rewarded dishonest pilots prepared to fabricate their successes. So whilst both sides were overclaiming, for the Germans it was creating a yawning reality gap, letting them believe they were inflicting far higher losses on the RAF than they actually were. German intelligence was convinced Fighter Command was close to collapse, yet every day German pilots discovered the RAF seemed as strong as ever. The dream of air supremacy was still a long way off. However, the Germans weren't the only ones making some serious mistakes.
One of our great problems at the beginning of the war is we were not trained as well as the Germans. Our tactics were out of date. We used to fly type formations, which was absolute asking for murder, and we got the chop left, right and centre.
Pilots were taught to fly in close formations of 3, called Vics. This required great skill, but was useless in a dogfight. It forced pilots to spend all their time avoiding collisions rather than looking out for the enemy. But it's a skill Dave will still have to learn. We've brought in one of the current world experts in piloting Second World War planes to teach him this and aerobatics.
My name's Peter Kinsey. I'm the chief pilot of the fighter collection here at Duxford. I was the British aerobatic champion for 3 years and represented the UK in the World Aerobatic Championships and the Europeans. And since I've stopped that sport, I've been training aerobatic pilots and also doing display flying instruction. I'm an examiner for the Civil Aviation Authority for display pilots. Okay, so Dave, what are we going to do today? Today's exercises, we're going to start off with formation flying, and the position we'll be flying is a formation called echelon, which is, there's the leader, and you'll be back here about 45 degrees back, just slightly behind the leader.
While Dave pilots the dual-seater Spitfire with Carolyn, Pete will be leading the sortie in a single-seater Mark V Spitfire. Dave will be trying to fly as close in behind Pete's wing as possible.
The original idea in the training was that you would be involved against bombers, not fighters.
It was archaic and a throwback of before the war, peacetime, when they assumed that there'd be big bomber formations, so you must get a concentration of fire against a big bomber formation, therefore keep all the airplanes together and then go in, so you had a concentration.
Okay, you have control.
Okay, I have control.
Okay. Keep your hand on the throttle at all times so you can begin the join up now.
Okay, you keep a good lookout.
I am.
You've got to keep in position to the left or the right of your leader. And it isn't something the aeroplane will do itself. You're adjusting your throttle the whole time to keep in position.
Keep the nose down a little bit, Dave. A little bit more power just to keep that position now. The trick with formation flying is lots of little bits of power. That's right.
This is a complex operation that takes all the pilot's concentration and certainly doesn't give you time to look out for the enemy.
So you're in perfect position now, I think.
Okay, I've got the elevator cutting through the windscreen there.
So keep it there.
You had to fly with your wing. In my case, I was number 3, so I had to fly with 1/3 of my wing inside, behind the other wing, and about 3 to 4 feet behind it, so you were very close to the other aircraft. We cruised at about 220 miles an hour, so you had to be very much on the qui-vive.
Of course, all the time you were doing that, you weren't looking round. You were looking at your leader. You never took your eyes off him. And if he missed something, then as a wingman, you got clobbered.
I'm having a bit of a lookout for you, but basically your leader is your lookout. You trust him implicitly, which of course in the war is what it was all about.
The English flew close together, in chains, and so it took them more time to realize they were being attacked. And we were often able to take them by surprise, including the Spitfire.
There was one occasion when Bolter and I were flying at the back of the formation, and we got jumped by a 109, and there was a green tracer going in between us. And he went to the right automatically, I went to the left, and I was so close to him, I could see all the oil streaks coming down the Spitfire.
Not only were the pilots told to fly in VIX, they were also expected to follow standard RAF attack guidelines. These involved forming into single file and opening fire as you slowly overtook the enemy one by one. It isn't hard to imagine what would happen next.
There were 13 pilots, and they only wanted 12. And so they drew out of the hat who was going to be on the lucky one, and it was me. So off went 19 Squadron, and they ran straight into a horde of Stukas, and they methodically followed Fighter Command Attack number 1, and went in, and you went in at a very slow overtaking speed of the target, and they were very slow, Stukas. And these three boys were creeping in, ready, when of course down came the Messerschmitts and shot down the first 3 straight away.
It was absolute rubbish. It really was. We soon realised what was going wrong.
I mean, you were a sitting duck going in at about 10 mile an hour overtaking speed.
It was clear tactics had to change if RAF pilots were to have any chance of winning the Battle of Britain. Pilot Dave Mallon is being taught how to fly a Spitfire in close formation, an out-of-date tactic learnt by RAF pilots prior to the Battle of Britain.